What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of On the Card presented by TRHS Sports. We are on episode 19, and it is September 3rd, the first day of the FBS college football season. Get excited for that. We're going to be talking about FBS football. 3 teams in action tonight, plus Central Arkansas going up in their second game, though they're just an FCS team. So today's got a lot of potential, a lot of fun stuff ahead. We also have 2 game sixes in hockey. We have a must win for the Raptors, and then we have the Clippers and the Nuggets getting their series underway. I'm going to start off, however, with the MLB, and I have one bet today, and I love this bet. If I was doing a best bet of the day, this would probably be it. I have the Los Angeles Dodgers first 5 -1.5 run line at +102. This just feels too good to be true to me. Luke Weaver has not had it. He got shelled by the Giants in his last start. The Diamondbacks offense is atrocious. It's like they don't even want to be there anymore. I don't think they've wanted to be there for the last, 2 weeks. And they're going against Clayton Kershaw. The Dodgers bats come to life against Luke Weaver. Clayton Kershaw shuts down the Diamondbacks for the entirety of the first 5 innings. I think the Dodgers could be winning this 5-6-0 by the time we get to the top of the 6th, which is absolutely fantastic. That's exactly what we want. I got the Dodgers -1.5. The reason I'm staying away from the total for the first 5 is because I'm worried that there is a possibility that the Dodgers actually go over this all by themselves. So I'm going to stick with the Dodgers just killing the Diamondbacks, who just have looked dead in the water the entire time. And that's my first bet of the day, the first thing I'm putting on the card. So there you go. Moving on past the MLB now, I'm going to go into the NBA, because I think the NBA is in a weird situation right now. I mean, those games yesterday were great, and they ended in 2 of the most bizarre fashions I've ever seen. I don't understand how that's a foul at the end of the Bucks game. I'm not complaining, because at the end of the day, the Bucks got every freaking call the entire game. But when Jimmy Butler takes a game-winning shot and then doesn't get touched until long after the ball is in the air and already going, it's not a foul. It's not a foul. It's got to stop. The NBA is a joke with that type of stuff right now. They don't even know what their own fouls are. And the fact that Giannis pretty much gets a foul called on him for trying to hold the guy up makes absolutely no sense. So I hate that. I think it's stupid. I'm not a fan of it. I think it's time for the NBA to get things in order. But anyway, all of that aside, the Heat are up 2-0, and also the Celtics are up 2-0. That scares me, and I like the Raptors here, and I've liked the Raptors every game, and I'm going to keep taking them until they win a damn game. They don't have a clutch factor right now, but they're not getting swept. It's just not going to happen. They really need a clutch play, though, and they need somebody to actually come out and start scoring. Siakam's got to get it together, but I like the Raptors at -2. I think they're going to win this game. I'm going to keep saying it and saying it and saying it, and I'm not going to back away. If they don't cover here, I won't bet them again. But I feel like it has to happen here. You know, they should have had it in game 2. It was an absolute choke job. And then here we are in game 3. They got to win this game. They have no choice but to win it. And I think that they have enough talent and enough skill to get the job done and actually win the game. And maybe make this a series. Like, please make this a series. So far, in the way the West is shaping up, I don't like any of these series to be series right now. And that sucks. If the second round is going to be bad, that's not good for the NBA. If we're going to get 2 sweeps in the East, or 2 4-1 victories in the East, the West is about to be a joke. The Clippers are going to destroy the Nuggets, which leads into my next bet. Yes, I'm putting the Raptors at -2 on the card, but I'm also putting the Clippers at -8.5 on the card. The Clippers are so much better than the Nuggets, and the Nuggets have absolutely no energy left. They have nothing left in their tank. If you watch their Game 7 against the Jazz, I understand it's a Game 7. I understand nothing makes sense in Game 7s. But Jamal Murray had nothing left in that game. This team is absolutely exhausted. They've been playing every other day for the last 17, 18 days, and they get 1 day off in between their Game 7 and Game 1 against the Clippers, who have been rested. The Clippers are already such a better team. And really, with the way the Nuggets played in that series, they had no business advancing. They played bad in 5 games in a 7-game series. You don't win series like that. They found a way to get by, but oh man, do I see them getting smoked by the Clippers in this game. I think they're getting absolutely decimated. The Clippers are finally starting to click. Things started looking better for them in the last 2 games of that series against the Mavericks. Personally, right now, if you were to put the Mavericks up against the Nuggets in a 7-game series, I think the Mavericks would beat them 4-1. I don't think the Nuggets are that good. Yeah, they showed a lot of heart. They showed a lot of gut. But how often does a team that scores 30 points in the second half win a basketball game? And that's what happened to them. They completely choked up. They got nervous. They played scared, and they're exhausted. It's a terrible combination of going against a much better team than you. I think they're going to struggle to find offense in this game. They got Jokic and they have Murray. Harris hasn't made all that much of a difference since he's been back. Maybe people who watch every single minutia of a play will say that that's not true. But yeah, that's what I think. I just don't see Harris making that big of a difference, and I think that this is a game where the Clippers right across the board outmatch the Nuggets, and they're going to destroy them. So I also have the Nuggets going under 107.5. One, because it's playoff time, and as we've seen, a lot of unders have been hitting in these playoffs. Even the overs that hit are barely hitting. But I don't know. The Clippers could score 130 points in this game. The Nuggets were terrible offensively in their first couple games against the Jazz. They started to lock it down later in the series, but by that point, I don't know if I really cared anymore. So I think that they're going to get killed this game. I got the Clippers minus 8.5. I got the Nuggets under 107.5, and I'm putting both of those on the card. All right, we got the NHL. We have 2 game 6s, and I don't really like either of them. First up is the Flyers and the Islanders, and I think the Islanders are going to win this one. They have the momentum despite the fact that they lost their last game. So even though they lost game 5 in overtime, they have the momentum. They were down 3-1 with 5 minutes left. They came all the way back, and they lost in overtime. I think they're going to get the job done in this one. I think they have the momentum. I think they're going to play the Flyers well. But the Flyers also have a really gutsy team too. The Flyers aren't just going to roll over and play dead. So I'm a little bit nervous about this one, and I'm not going to take a side. The Islanders are minus 121. That's where I would lean on this one. But I probably just won't. My advice is don't take anything. Don't take anything in this game. It's a really tough game, and I'm really nervous about it. I think the Islanders are going to win it. That would be great for my website, betonphilwood.com. We'd get a big prop there with the Islanders at minus 1.5. We'd also get a big prop with the Islanders winning the series. But I don't know. I'm not really seeing it. So that's what I got for that one. And then for the next one, I got the Vegas Golden Knights and the Vancouver Canucks. And I got the Vegas Golden Knights and the Vancouver Canucks. Don't worry. You live with roommates. This is what happens. So fun. You're good. Go enjoy. Vegas and Vancouver. This is where we're at. Don't worry about that. Russell knows. So hey, for the 5 of you who are watching this live, congrats. You just saw that I had to get people out of the room. We did it. But Russell knows, and Russell told me to find 5 bets for today. So I got to find 5. This way I can get 5 to Russell, which is not easy to do in a slate where there's getting shorter and shorter games, especially since I don't like betting a lot of MLB. So for the NHL, here's what we're looking at in the other game, Vancouver and Vegas. Vancouver is still plus 200. I kind of love Vancouver. Plus 200. I think it's a great number. They got so outplayed in game 5, and yet they still found a way to win. If you can find a way to win in game 5 after how bad they played, I'm telling you, this is just the most resilient team, and they're plus 200. Like, I'm almost saying, like, just throw another unit on it because you're already plus money. Even if you've bet Vancouver every single game in the series, even though they've lost 3 games and only won 2, you're still plus money on this. If you've just been betting 1 unit because their number is so insane, you're getting 2-1 every time. I think it's worth betting it again. I'm not going to, but put a unit on the Vancouver Canucks if you want action on this game for their money line at plus 200. It's just such an astronomical number. Granted, Vegas has played so much better than them in a lot of these games, but that's just something to keep in mind. And then the over-under here at 6, I like the over in this game, and that's the only it's the only bet I'm going to make for the NHL today. Is the Vancouver Vegas over. I thought about it. I was like, oh, maybe not. It's an elimination game for Vancouver. Vancouver's goalie, I forget his name, so forgive me, but he was phenomenal. It was his first start ever. He was absolutely phenomenal in the last game. He had 43 saves. It's not going to happen again against Vegas. If Vegas gets off 44 shots again, they're going to put up 5 goals. I'm sorry. And then maybe they just can't figure this guy out, but we saw it in round 1 with the Avalanche taking on the Coyotes. They tend to find a way eventually. The better teams offensively tend to find a way. And look at what happened to Darcy Kemper in the last 2 games of that series. He gave 7 goals in both. And I know they weren't all him. but eventually they pulled him because he was just so bad. So I like this game to go over. So I'm going to say Vancouver, Vegas over 6. And if you're looking for something, just put a unit on the Vancouver Canucks at plus 200 because, man, that number is huge. And if Vancouver can win this game and go to a game 7 against Vegas, wow, would that be exciting. We already have one game 7 coming up in the NHL, which will be tomorrow, which game 7s in the NHL to me are the best thing in the world. So I can't wait for that. All right, we're moving over to college football. We got 2 games today. Yeah, that's right. College football is back, and there are 2 games. This will be really, really exciting. We got Central Arkansas taking on UAB, and we got South Alabama taking on Southern Mississippi. Maybe not the 2 games everybody is most hyped about, but here we are. I always find it fascinating. Central Arkansas, after their first game with Austin Peay, no positive COVID tests. Everything went really well. It seems like everything is just running right along for Central Arkansas. That's positive. That's awesome. I'm glad to hear that. Thank you, Central Arkansas, for showing that you can go play a football game against a team and not just have everybody on your team get sick. So that's good to see. Central Arkansas can pull it off. You would think that some of the bigger schools could pull it off. And hey, guess what? Tomorrow, the Big Ten is supposedly voting on trying to play. When everybody doesn't just follow your lead blindly, all of a sudden you realize, like, wait, maybe we're not that important. Maybe we should just play so that we don't screw ourselves for the future. Anyway, that's just I just can't believe what's happening there. It's just so bizarre. But Central Arkansas is about to play their second game, and they won their first one. They didn't look great against Austin Peay. And this game could go one of 2 ways. I'm going to be watching it closely because UAB plays Miami in Miami season opener, and I'm a Miami guy. I went to University of Miami. So I'm going to be watching this one closely to see what UAB's got. Central Arkansas doesn't really have much offense, and I don't think their defense was great. I think Austin Peay's offense was also kind of inept. I don't think that there's much going on there, and I think the FBS versus FCS thing here, even though UAB is a lower-level FBS team, UAB is still like normally a 6-7 win team. I like UAB to come out and kill Central Arkansas in this game. It's the first game of the season for UAB, so maybe Central Arkansas will be like, hey, we actually played a game, not as many spring practices and summer and all that. But I like UAB to kill them. It's right under the key number right now at minus 20.5. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take it. I wouldn't take it if it was 21.5, but I'm going to take UAB at minus 20.5. I think they're going to kill them. I really do. I just think they're going to blow them away. Central Arkansas doesn't have much offense, and UAB is not a bad team. So I got UAB minus 20.5. And then the next game, South Alabama versus Southern Miss. This is our first FBS versus FBS team. Our first FBS versus FBS game of the entire season is Southern Mississippi versus South Alabama. That's right. That's what's happening. I'm excited. Look, Southern Mississippi and South Alabama somehow found a way to play in COVID-19 crazy 2020, but every school in my state can't play because I guess they don't have the funding or the money to actually be able to figure out a successful testing plan. Anyway, that's just me. I'm in California for anybody who's wondering. Yeah, so USC, UCLA, all your big fan bases, bye-bye. Anyway, Southern Mississippi and South Alabama. I'm kind of surprised how big this number is. It's 13.5. I feel like that's too big for this like opening game of the season. I feel like this is going to be a lower scoring game, and I think South Alabama is actually a little bit better offensively than Southern Miss. So I'm going to take South Alabama at plus 13.5. Again, it's right under the key number, which sucks when you're trying to take the underdog. It would have been nice if I could have gotten this at 14. But I'm going to take South Alabama at 13.5. I really do. I wouldn't even be surprised if they somehow pull out this game. They lose their season openers. In the last 3 season openers, I believe it is, they've lost every one of them, but they've covered the spread in every single one of those games. So I like them to pull this off and possibly get a win. They're at least going to cover. So at least we have that going for us. South Alabama plus 13.5. And if I was going to bet this game, I would bet the under at 56. I think it's too high, especially for teams that really didn't get a lot of offensive reps in the offseason. That's all I have for today, though. I probably won't be back till Saturday because that's when we're actually going to get more games. We have 3 NCAA football games, and then Monday we have BYU and Navy, and next Thursday is when we have UAB versus Miami, where Miami is favored by 16 already over UAB. So just something to keep an eye on. But wow, we're getting down to it. The ACC will be starting up on Thursday, September 10th, the same night as opening night of football season. And if you don't think that game's going to happen, if you think the sky is going to fall somehow before then, you're crazy. You're crazy. It's happening. I mean, it's just the fact that Central Arkansas and Austin Peay had their game go off with absolutely no issues pre, post, or during the game. these bigger conferences realize they need to get the job done. Even if they can't finish out a damn season, they got to at least get out there and play a couple games of football and show that they tried, or it's going to hurt their brand for years to come. So that's what I got for today. I'll run back through the card one more time. I got the Dodgers first 5 -1.5 at +102. Nuggets under 107.5. Clippers -8.5. Raptors -2. Vancouver and Vegas over 6 goals. UAB -20.5 and South Alabama +13.5. Sorry about the little, person walking through. It's all good. But I'll be back on Saturday with another episode of On the Card. Won't be back tomorrow. I know Russell is still in Reno because he just keeps winning money, so he doesn't ever want to leave. And follow me on Twitter at Phil Wood Jr. or go over to my website, betonphilwood.com, where you get daily bets. I also give all of my predictions for the series for playoffs, which right now hasn't been great considering the NBA. The 2 teams I picked are down 2-0, but there's still time. The NBA is crazy. Look what Oklahoma City did against the Rockets. They were down 2-0. They stormed all the way back, and it came down to the last possession in Game 7. So I will see you all on Saturday with another episode of On